Look at this cute book that I got from Barnes & Nobles that definitely didn't make me cry on Valentine's Day at 1 a.m. in the morning. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the Romeo and Juliet story for fairies without the unnecessary dramaticness and dying scenes of Romeo and Juliet. More of the emotional turmoil that Romeo and Juliet provides. Star-crossed lovers is what this book is. If you guys don't know what this book is, you most likely have been living under a rock, because this is literally from the Tinkerbell franchise and it just came out, and so how on earth do you not know about it? Unless, like I said, you're living under a rock and you've never heard of the Tinkerbell franchise. But if you have heard of the Tinkerbell franchise and you just didn't know that this book was coming out, did you guys watch the winter movie from Tinkerbell? Do you guys remember the intense kiss between Queen Clarion and Lord Mallory? This artwork, is this not the most beautiful artwork you've ever seen? And also the most saddest artwork you've ever seen, because it is so clear that they are not meant for each other. No. This is gritty fairy drama that we never knew we needed. We're kidding. We all knew that we needed this. This book takes place roughly around 350 years before the actual Tinkerbell movies come out. Well, when the present time. You know what I mean. This is where we get to see their interaction. So if that intense kiss didn't make you want to know more about their love story, well, let me convince you, because I read this book immediately as it came. So the story takes place when Queen Clarion isn't a queen. She's a princess. A soon-to-be queen. We get to meet her mom. How exciting. But yes. It takes place when she is a soon-to-be queen and has been told her whole life that the Winter Woods is off limits and extremely dangerous. So of course, the first thing that she does is go into the Winter Woods, obviously. Like any good rebellious teenager would when her mother is literally forbidding her from doing anything. And I mean that literally. She barely talks to her subjects. Her subjects barely talk to her. All she does is talk to the ministers of spring, autumn, and summer. Let this girl have a life. She is quite literally Rapunzel in a tower. But when she goes into the Winter Woods, instead of danger and the monsters that everyone's talking about, she finds a very devilish, handsome, charming winter fairy who is extremely off limits because he's a winter fairy and she's not even supposed to be there. Meet Mallory!
Oh no, he's hot!
Now what is the Wings of Starlight? You might be asking yourself. Well, I got just the Instagram post for you. That was made by Ink and Paper and Books. I'll put their links down below. But what they did, amazing. They made a whole post on the Wings of Starlight with a timeline, general information, characters, and more. That's really impressive. I admire the commitment. This post totally hits the nail of what the tropes are of this book. Star-crossed lovers, angst and yearning, forbidden love, a Romeo and Juliet type story, heart versus duty, magic, lessons. He falls first. He falls first. Not she falls first. He falls first. My heart. Allies to lover, and a single POV. Now if you want some general information about the book itself, it's right here in this post too. 400 pages, a romance fantasy fiction, And the mood's emotional but hopeful. We're in for a treat. Might see me cry. This post is even so great that it talks about the author. We love appreciating the authors. About the author, Allison Saft is the New York Times and indie best-selling author. I didn't know she was an indie author. Of a far will there magic, and down comes the night. She received her MA in English Literature at Toulon University. Shoutouts to Toulon for making a great author. They have a playlist. There's a playlist. Did they make this playlist, or is the playlist in the book? I don't know. Here is the timeline that they put the chronological order of the Tinkerbell franchise. This book is quite literally the first meeting. How exciting. And now on to the characters. So of course we have our two main love interests, Clarion, the future queen of Pixie Hollow, and Mallory's love interest. And then we have Mallory himself, the current warden of the Winter Woods. Clarion's lover later is named the Lord of the Winter, or Lord of Winter, whichever makes more sense. Then we have the other two queens. We have Titania, or Titania. Titania? Titania? Titania. We have Titania, the first queen of Pixie Hollow. We also have Elvina, the current queen of Pixie Hollow, and Clarion's mother. We get to meet her mom. Boyfriend meets mom situation. There are also new fairies that we get introduced to in this book that we've never met before. Or maybe we have, and I just need to rewatch the Tinkerbell franchise. Oh my gosh. We get to meet Petra, Clarion's best friend, and the royal thinker. We also get to meet Artemis, Clarion's royal bodyguard, and Petra's love interest. Side character love interest? Side plot. We also get to meet the keeper, who is the current keeper of the Winter Woods. We also know that he is a friend of Mallory. We also meet Yarrow, who is a winter fairy, a healer, and another friend of Mallory. And guess what, guys? We also get to meet a couple of little animal friends. Fenris, the keeper's puppy / wolf. I'll be the decider of that. And Noctua, Mallory's owl, that I'm pretty sure was in the Tinkerbell movie. I'm pretty sure. I remember there being an owl in there. I'm gonna double check on that. Finally, there is a timeline of the book, but we will not be going too much into that because we are going to read it ourselves. And it's going to be really exciting. But if you want to see more of this post, there's also information about the world building in this book, which I would highly recommend looking into, especially if you are not great at understanding concepts of a new story or like how the magic system works. I would highly recommend looking into this post. Cue the heartbreak, cue the emotional turmoil, and cue the clip of me live crying to this book on my bed at like 1 a.m. Listen, you hurt my heart. This is a really good book. It's really good. But this made me realize they spent like 300 years away from each other. How could you do this to me, Allison? Look, I'm like actually crying. Oh, my eyes kind of pretty, but oh my gosh. Yeah, that's me. Makeup running down my face. This book made me a mess for so many reasons. So now that I have definitely convinced you to read this book, let's talk about why this book works and why it absolutely left me in shambles. First of all, the romance. 10 out of 10. T. Perfect, tragic, deliciously devastating. My favorite kind of romance. If you are the type of reader who loves a good, slow burn, forbidden love, and the characters very driven on their work and what they need to do as a person, this is definitely a story for you. Clarion and Mallory's romance is everything that a reader could want in a star-crossed romance. Sweet, yearning, but completely destroyed beyond their control. Just inject that angst into my veins immediately. The world building. Absolutely fantastic. If you've seen the Tinkerbell franchise and you think you had a good grasp of the world building there, it is nothing compared to the world building that was put into this book. Of course, Allison had a clear draft of the Pixie Hollow, but she added on to it. Remember how fairies were born from the laughter of children? Clarion's a queen. She was born from the stars. Bet you didn't see that coming. I certainly didn't. So there's so much more to add on to the Tinkerbell franchise, and Allison did a wonderful job at doing it. That is proper world building, and I highly recommend you read it and learn more about the franchise, especially if you are a huge Tinkerbell fanatic. 10 out of 10 emotional damage. I signed up for this heartache. We all knew it was coming, especially if you saw that movie. Play the clip. Play the clip of them kissing. Play the clip of their kissing. I was staring at that ceiling. I had to put the book down. I had to get up. I had to grab water. I had to grab tissues. I was emotional wrecked. I get very connected to the characters, and if you are like me, get tissues ready next to you. I knew I was gonna be sad, but I didn't think I was gonna be that sad. I'll tell you what part really got me. Spoiler alert. Mallory tipped her chin up so that he could meet her gaze. You will have all your subjects to love you. And even if I am not beside you, you will still have me. There will never be a brighter star. I will always love you. Remember when I said I got this book on Valentine's Day? Thanks, Allison, for pain. Excruciating pain. I really needed it. It really made Valentine's Day exciting. Now, the characters. Every single one of them played an excellent role into this book. Clarion and Mallory. They're flawed. They're lovable, and they made me cry like I'm pouring a teacup. And that is what I appreciate about these characters. They feel realistic. Clarion is the main POV of this book. And feeling and hearing her thoughts, I just wanted to hold the poor BB. She is a genuine character that many people can actually relate to. If you are someone who feels like they are stuck at home and struggle to interact with other people due to your parents' interference, baby, you're Clarion. How about being misunderstood? You're Mallory. And yet, despite being flawed, those two loved each other, helped each other, taught each other about the world. Now let's talk about the issues I have with this book. And of course, these are just my personal issues, because every book is going to have issues, or else there wouldn't be a story in general. I'm writing my own book right now, and trust me, I have seen the issues with it, and I go, well, without it, it wouldn't exist. But I'm gonna rant, because I need these two to be together. First of all, in the story, the pixies have, like, swords with pixie dust infused in them to help, like, bring strength. You're gonna tell me in all 350 years, plus more, they didn't think to, use pixie dust to advance in other things, such as heating pads, or just warmer clothes in general when crossing over? Because apparently they thought about it later on in Tinkerbell's movie. Like, over 300 years, they're gonna tell me they didn't think any of that stuff. I needed more happiness. I understand it's supposed to be a bittersweet story, and that's what makes it so good. Please, just give me one chapter of happiness. Just more love, less doom. Overall, Alison Saft, I'm giving your book a 4.75 out of 5. I'm taking 0.25 points away from you because of the emotional damage. Clarion and Mallory, you deserve better.